Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Monica if you don't know, and today's video is about pretty much self-improvement and managing your time better and stuff like that, and it's about stopping to scroll on social media. Now before we get into this, I just want to say that I am not totally against social media. There are some great uses of social media, such as obviously connecting with people from around the globe, all the Facebook groups that you could go in and sell stuff and ask questions and form communities, also to learn. There's lots of good things about social media, but I think it can also be very damaging to our lives and to our self-improvement. So firstly, if you don't know, I'll just touch briefly on the subject of why do we even scroll? Why do we tend to spend 5, 10, 20, 30 more minutes just scrolling, and why is it so tantalizing and addictive? So basically, the addiction comes from the fact that if you scroll and then you see something that you like and you spend time on it to read through it properly, watch it, whatever it is, like it, and then you scroll again and you see stuff that you're not interested in, and then you find something again that's interesting, that's what's addictive. That's the dopamine shot, that's the happiness, excitement that comes from finding something when you just look and you don't know what you're going to get. And that applies to social media, but also to online shopping. For example, I am guilty of looking at the bags endlessly. I will go on different shops and I will just scroll through bags, and then I find one that I really like, even if I don't need another bag. But that's what gives me the excitement, and I've come to realize that, and I've stopped doing it because it's just a waste of time, a complete waste of time. I can do that when I actually need to buy something, but not just to get the quick shot of happiness that is not really worth anything. So now if you're watching this video, then well, you clicked on it, then I assume you have a similar view and you probably struggle with spending time on social media and you'd like to reduce it, but it's really hard. Now obviously there's nothing wrong with checking your Instagram for 5 minutes or just checking your YouTube feed subscription to see if any of your favorites posted. When it becomes a problem is that when 5 minutes turn into half an hour, and then also if you have to do it many times throughout the day. So anytime you sit down and you've got nothing like to do, or you're not occupied with anything, you reach for your phone and then you scroll on Instagram, maybe on Facebook, maybe on Pinterest, maybe you're scrolling through some shop. All that scrolling is essentially a waste of energy and is distracting you from your real life, where you are at that moment. And if you think about it, years and years ago, before social media, you would interact with your family, with your friends, with your colleagues at work, with anyone you sort of dealt with, for example with a mechanic fixing your car or stuff like that, right? But throughout the day you wouldn't hear that someone you've not seen for 10 years got married or have been on holiday or bought a new car. All that stuff you're being bombarded with, you don't need that. If you don't speak to someone for a year to 5 years, you don't need to know if they've been on holiday or if they've been out for a nice meal, because all that you see throughout the day on Facebook, that just affects how you feel about yourself. And then you want to go out more and you feel like you're not good enough because you've not been out for a meal all week. No, it doesn't matter. If you've been happy until you opened Facebook, you should stay that way, and you shouldn't let social media affect how you feel and your own little world that you've created for yourself. So now, how do I try to minimize the amount of time I spend on social media? So number one is leaving your phone in a different room. For example, if I want to read something and I know if I have my phone next to me, I will get these thoughts to Google something or to look something up, or something I read in the book, I don't fully know what it is and I want to look it up. I don't want any of that, because I know then I won't read for as long as I would like to, even though I enjoy reading, because the phone, the window to the whole world, is right next to me. It's too distracting. And that is also a great way to just make yourself do things rather than reach for your phone. So I would recommend you try this. Leave your phone in a completely different room, or as far as you can in your house. Obviously we all have different house living environments. Some people may not be fortunate enough to have a lot of different rooms, but anyway, I'm sure you can put your phone somewhere where you can't see it and where you can't reach it easily. Maybe that could be even in your car if you have a car. So do that, and then just sit down and think what comes to your head. I bet your first thought will be to grab your phone because you'd like to catch up on Instagram, or maybe Google that one thing that's been on your mind. But just forget about that and think what you'd like to do. It may be that you need to clean a cupboard, or it may be that you're putting something off, something that you need to learn for work or for school or whatever it is. Maybe you've had an article saved and you've just not been bothered to read it, or there's some notes you need to take, or a planner to fill. There will be lots of things that you have in the back of your mind that you just procrastinate, because those things, even though if they only take you 10 minutes, they keep adding up, because if you have 10 minutes you will reach for your phone and you will just waste time on that instead of spending that 10 minutes on doing that one small task. And now I've done that and I've been there, and it's just stupid like how it works really. If you don't have a deadline on something, you can just procrastinate it indefinitely, but all those things stack up and just cause you stress, because you know that thing needs to be cleaned up or sorted or whatever it is. Try that and see what happens. And also maybe journal at the same time. So if you sit down and like just journal out what's in your head, all the things you'd like to do, and then you start doing them, and then maybe an hour later you'll feel a lot lighter because you've dealt with a lot of small tasks that have been accumulating in your head. Another way I successfully stopped myself from scrolling social media for too long is I just ask myself a simple question: is this actually benefiting me? You know what it's like on YouTube, or for example on Instagram, just looking at all those what people are doing, and then also seeing ads of things which I don't need but I'm going to like because they are customized for me. The answer most of the time is no, it won't actually benefit me. I'd rather spend 10 minutes tidying up, or maybe journaling, or maybe just watching something on the television, which is not as bad actually as social media, I think. And my third tip is to think, how did you feel last time after you've actually done it? So for me, that's something with Instagram. So I try to go on it as little as possible. And now if I don't go on it for a few days, and then I think, oh, would you mind just seeing what's up on Instagram, what people have been posting and stuff like that, which obviously there's nothing wrong with, right? And then I think, well, last time I went on it, afterwards I felt quite devalued, and I felt like I needed more things, and I started comparing myself, because obviously I follow people not just sort of from my, not demographic, but like a socio-economic status. I follow a lot of celebrities and YouTubers and just like travelers, so obviously everything that they post, it's not something I do on a daily basis, and it's not something I am able to do with a full-time job and dine at fine restaurants all the time. So, well, obviously you can tailor your feed so that you don't see that kind of stuff, but my feed is very tailored anyway. There's literally just a few people that I follow, and the rest is mainly like companies that I'm interested in. But anyway, so before I go on Instagram, for example, I just think, well, I'm happy now, and if I go on it, then I will see that bag I want, or I will see somebody's holiday picture, or like the nice dinner they had, and then you can't help but it affects how you feel. Even if you don't feel like you're comparing yourself to them, you still feel like you like to do that kind of stuff too. And especially if all you've done all week is gone to work, gone maybe to the supermarket, and that's it, and you've not done anything else, then you will really feel like things are missing. So now, what are the benefits of stopping the scroll, right? So at the beginning I was talking about all these things that you procrastinate and that they add up. So all that will benefit you in many ways. For example, your house will be tidier, because rather than going on Instagram for 10 minutes, you tidy something up. Your career may improve, because you will spend time instead on reading articles, something to do with your industry or your job, things like that. You may find new hobbies. You may actually find the encouragement and motivation to start this hobby that you've been liking the look of. For example, it could be crafting or knitting or a guitar, whatever it is. So you may actually develop a hobby which will be much more healthier for you and stimulating than looking at other people's lives all the time. You can also be more organized, because I don't know about you, but I like my journaling, and I like to have a planner where I note a lot of things, and it's just something that keeps me calm, and where I can just know that everything's there and I don't need to worry about forgetting things. So now again, rather than going and scrolling through an online shop, you could spend that time on just writing down things that you need to remember and just keeping your planner up to date. And lastly, you will just simply be the better version of yourself, as long as you don't swap the scrolling for something just as bad. For example, eating a lot of junk or watching too much television. Obviously there's nothing wrong with that, we all do that, we all need to just unwind and not do anything for some time. But in general, if you finish something and then you sit down and the first thing you do is go on your phone, that is not really benefiting you at all. You're just gonna compare yourself to other people instead of becoming the better version of yourself. Now, I'll need to touch on something here. I know you may think that deleting the social media apps from your phone could be a great idea to stop you from scrolling, or online retailers apps, whatever it is. I personally think that's a bit too drastic, because we live in the 21st century where everything is online and on social media, and you may need to actually genuinely use it for something. For example, you may be looking at a restaurant and you want to check the Instagram feed to see how the food actually looks, or you may want to sell something on Facebook Marketplace. So things like that, there will be chances when you actually genuinely need to use one of those apps for something, and without having them, it's just annoying to do it in the web browser. And in my example as well, I work in marketing, so social media is something I can't sort of escape, and I can't really stop using because I need it for work. I do use it for work. So deleting the app or deleting the account, I think is too drastic just because of the times we live in. But you can sort of train yourself and find ways to stop using them so much. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed all my tips and insights. And let me know in the comments below what you think, whether you agree or disagree with me, or what are your tips to stop the scroll, as I've been saying. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, because that helps me a lot. And yeah, I'm hoping to see you in the next video.